I have seen the dark universe yawning, where the black planets roll without aim, where they roll in their horror unheeded without knowledge or name. The story of Robert Blake is a strange and tragic one. He was a writer and painter, a dreamer who loved the ancient and the forbidden. He lived in Providence, Rhode Island, in an old house filled with strange books and sketches of impossible landscapes. Those who knew him said he was fascinated by the unknown corners of the world and by the symbols of lost religions. He wrote stories of cosmic terror and painted visions that seemed not of this earth. In the spring of 1934, his curiosity led him across the city to a place shunned by everyone else. It was Federal Hill, a dark district of crumbling houses and alien whispers. The people there spoke in low voices and crossed themselves when he asked about the old church on the hill. They told him it had been abandoned for years, that strange lights were sometimes seen there at night, and that those who entered never returned. But Blake could not resist. He laughed softly at their fears and climbed the narrow streets until he stood before the church itself, its spire black against the dying sun. He pushed the side door open. Its hinges screamed in protest. The smell of dust, mold, and centuries of silence filled the air. Inside, the shadows seemed alive. The pews were broken, the altar black with decay. A faint glimmer caught his eye, high above in the dark of the tower. He found the staircase narrow and twisting and began to climb. Each step creaked beneath his feet, each turn swallowed by deeper gloom. When he reached the top, he entered a round chamber, the air heavy, and strange symbols carved into the walls. On a pedestal of stone stood a black box covered in dust. Something inside it pulsed faintly, like a dying star. He opened the box once slowly and gasped. Inside lay a crystal, dark as the void, yet burning with inner light. The shining trapezohedron. It glowed when he touched it. Shadows stirred in the corners. For a moment he thought he saw movement, as if something vast and formless shifted behind the veil of reality. The light flickered violently, and Blake stumbled back. He heard a whisper, and not from this world, a sound like wings, but heavier, wet, and slow. He slammed the box shut. The whisper stopped, but something inside the tower was awake. That night, Robert Blake couldn't sleep. He kept seeing the black crystal, the shining trapezohedron, glowing. In the darkness of his mind, he told himself it was only imagination. But the shadows in his room moved when the light flickered. He watched, something pressed against the edges of his thoughts, whispering without words, promising knowledge and showing horror. The next day, he wrote everything in his journal. The stone sees it opens a window between worlds. He could not stop thinking about the church tower. At night, he would stand by his window, staring toward Federal Hill. Sometimes, he saw a faint red light burning in the tower again. He tried to tell himself it was reflection, a trick of the city lights. But deep inside he knew the thing in the dark was moving. It waited for the night to be long enough. It waited for him to look back. Then came the storm. The sky turned black. Lightning tore through the clouds, and every light in the city went out. Blake lit a candle and saw, for an instant, a shadow, not his own, stretch across the wall behind him. The storm raged outside. The city below was swallowed by darkness. No lights. No sound except the wind. Blake sat frozen in his chair, the candle trembling in his hand. The shadows around him grew deeper, thicker, alive. He turned his eyes to the windows and gasped. Far away across the black city, a red light burned in the tower again. It pulsed him as if calling to him. The candle went out. Only the lightning lit the room now, each flash showing the shadow moving closer. Something was in the house. He heard the floorboards creak, the faint rustle of wings, wet, leathery, enormous. Blake tried to speak, but his voice broke into a whisper. "Light! Give me light!" A bolt struck nearby, and for one blinding second he saw it. A shape, vast and black, with eyes like burning voids, and a mouth that swallowed light itself. Then darkness. When the storm passed, neighbors found his body, staring toward Federal Hill, his eyes wide open, his face twisted in terror. In his notebook, the last words were written shakily. "I have seen the haunter of the dark. It knows me now.